I'm a village-raised young man. Left the village to go work in the city. This is when I started to study construction through a college. So I didn't start at university, I started at a college. It was a 2-year course. We call them N1 up to N6. So it's a trimester sort of thing. So you study building construction, you study, there's a bit of QS in it and all sorts. So in 1998, completed, went to start working. Unfortunately, I realized I was not recognized because I'm not from university. So the money I was paid was close to nothing. I did that for 2 years and reminded myself that I don't want to be an old man broke. So I left my work and I went back to school. At this time we call them technicons. Now they are removed. They are University of Technology, but you study um, technology. So I studied civil engineering technology there. I did my 8 semester courses now, no longer trimesters. So it's a good 4 semesters. You do 6 subjects per semester. Did that pretty much by 2003 June. I was done, and I went back into the industry to work. Needless to say, my dad has always been in construction, so he tried and find me a job within his organization because I was not lucky with good jobs, which was at the times Greener Carroll TA. So I joined there and, spent a few years, but I wasn't making my mark because everything was all about my dad. Every corner I go, your dad is this great, your dad is this. So I didn't want to live in his shadows. So I left for the UK. That was 2005. Did a year, few months. I wasn't happy in the UK. I thought it was boring. I thought they were not real contractors. There were more paperwork pushes. So I was more like every day.
Why did you say that, if I may ask?
In South Africa, we are builders. We are hardcore builders. We don't want to talk or fill in papers about building. We want to go to be on site and then to build. And the UK, it's wet and cold. They spend more time in the office planning, thinking about what they're going to build. And everybody who's a builder is a specialist. So you got minimal work basically to do. A steel fixer, you don't explain anything. You give him the drawing, he goes and fix the steel. A bricklayer, you give him the drawing, he goes and build you the wall. So you end up like, what am I doing? Whereas in South Africa, you're an engineer, you supervise people and you feel the supervision within you. So one time, oh, it's a good one. We used to watch National Geographic with my wife when we were in the UK. So they were showing all these big construction buildings, projects throughout the world. I think they discuss about the Chicago Dam, they discuss about the Petronas Towers in Malaysia. So they're discussing all these big projects which has made, they call them mega structures, all right? And the next one was Dubai, and they were showing the tallest building. It was in the basement, and they showed Burj Al Arab, the one that looks like a boat. And I said to my wife, we're in the wrong place, man. This is where things are. She's like, but we just arrived here. We got a year or so. I said, no, let's move there. So
This
we
is, you're
moved.
saying, Burj Al Arab, the seven-star hotel in Dubai, the first in.
Correct. Yes. 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 So if you Google mega structures, you will find that. I think there was a bit of the world when they were dredging the soil and bringing the soil in and all. It was just exciting stuff, and they were calling it Dubai, and I'm like, I want to be part of history. Let's go there. Uh, Made few applications within 2 weeks, got called, and then I was here. That was 2006, and I've been here since then. So it
Wow.
was good. Yeah.
I think Burj Al Arab was Atkins, if I'm not wrong, right? They were the architectural consultants.
They were, but because I was more into the contracting part and I was still young, I was interested who's the main contractor. I've been almost fascinated. When I look at projects, I don't look who designed it. You can pretty much understand because I'm not an architect, even if I'm
Absolutely.
a civil engineer, because I've never been to a practicing firm wherein I will say I was there practicing. But because since from class I've been a contractor, so I was looking at from the contractor point of view. At this point, it was my South African counterparts, Marion Roberts, who used to work with Alabtu. So they were the two contractors there, and Evers and I, which is the big structural steel company, they did that big steel there. Yeah, so it was interesting.
Good times.
Yeah.
So looking back, when you first got into this career, if I may ask, what was one of those pivotal moments for you to decide to move to Dubai? It was just the exciting projects which you were hearing left, right, and center, or was there another sort of technical spark in you which was just igniting?
Like I said, look, my dad was a steel fixer. So every now and then, when I visit to sites with my dad, there will be young white people, let's call them, young guys on top of the rebar, counting rebar. I remember asking my father, Dad, who's that guy? And my father said to me, son, that's an engineer. I said, I want to be like him when I grow up. I was still young. I didn't know what I was saying. Needless to say, I ended up being a civil engineering technologist, let's call it, because I didn't go to university. I went to Technicon. So we are technologists, civil engineering technologists, you call it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
considering, so this technical college, you mentioned you were learning a little bit of QS, and then there were technical aspects of the engineering. Is there anything particular that really helped you out? Like you think that was a transferable skill that you could implement on day one to a certain extent when you joined the field?
Okay. When you're young, you think just because you studied, you are the smartest guy. So when you get to site, you will know what to do, how to do it, because you have studied. Even the money, you think they will just give you the cash because you went to school. That's not how the real world works. So in South Africa, they used to do it so brilliantly. So when you come in, you'll be a bunch of graduates, and they will put you through systems of training. So you will work with what we call foremans back in the days. So these were the people who ran the site from a point of execution.
Hmm.
So from day one, you are just executing. You start realizing, I mean, I went to school to mix water with cement, sand. I mix it together. Did I went to school for that? Because they're mixing concrete and they're pouring it. But there is a huge lot uh, of it apart from the pouring of concrete. There was design and there is functionality. There are finishes to it. But it was just fascinating. And because the project were massive, you just had to be patient and you got told your time will come. You know, people are very quick on site to see this one is the next big thing, or he will make it. He is not going to run away. They see it, If, as clueless as you are, just your interest, the questions you ask, when they give you small task, how you do it, your due diligence tells people there is something to look at this boy. I think I was one of those boys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There's no question about that. So from what I hear, you're saying first there was a lot of hands-on aspect
Yes.
where it's not just the knowledge that you gained in your college or technical college, but also getting involved in the hands-on aspects, asking the right questions, and formulating the problem-solving technique, which is a day-to-day thing in the construction field, right? Does that sound about right?
Exactly. But at the time, when I look at it now, I was like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, excuse my language. But um, it interests those people, when you ask those fascinating questions, like, some people don't ask this. You are asking this. It will help you, even though it was just coming naturally. This is when you realize they give you more attention than others. They don't mind spending time with you. They don't mind giving you a task. It was all small communication. Uh, it's like untold, what do you call it? Unwritten rules, unwritten laws that you look like you're in the right place with construction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And if you were to say, I think if I were to extrapolate what you just said, and the curiosity and having that factor of thinking about these things, asking the right questions, getting noticed to build your career. Uh, I think if you were to extrapolate it now, I understand you're doing a project in Saudi which is worth in billions of dollars, right? So when it comes to that scale, and when you're building a team of experienced architects, engineers, and people from different domains working on interdisciplinary aspects of a project, I think that's where a lot of value gets created if you're able to have that solution-oriented approach. Because a problem which you solve for a small use case now can be scaled up to a larger use case.
Yeah. Look, construction is very vast. I tell you, we are on the construction point of view. We build based on information. I won't say it's unlucky. It's a good challenge that we have. Most of the project that we take does not have enough information for us to be able to execute. You have to develop this information that you have into what we call shop drawings. Now, this process of engineering, of coordinating between different parties which are involved on a contract, be it facade, be it internal fit out, be it structural, be it landscape on the outside, you are still having a lot of various um, entities that you interface with within your package that you're doing or the overall packages for us to be able to build. So it's a good challenge. It teaches you a lot, and yes, because we are in time chasing business, or because if we cannot complete on time, we cannot build. I mean, the engineering part, okay, without engineering you cannot procure. So there's a lot that is dependent on the part of engineering prior to you to us procuring and then building on site. Yes, a skill is required, one, to be able to identify the teams that will help you, to be able to draft an organogram, to build the job inside your head. In, if I give you drawings today, you're supposed to be telling me how you will build it. You need to have your own blueprint of how to build it. So, which information you will need. Then you will have to put together something called information schedule. The sequence of information you get given. I tell people construction is like attending a wedding, and you are going to a wedding, but you must dress up. If I give you shoes before socks, you cannot get dressed. If I give you your trouser before the underwear, you will not get ready. If I give you the vest before the jacket, you cannot get ready. So there's a sequence of information how it should be fed to us for us to get dressed and get ready to this wedding called the big construction.
Absolutely. I think it's a very good and vivid example you have given our students. I'm sure they will never forget this. So, my question, just coming back, I think you brought up a very important topic in information. Right now, information is key because there are so many stakeholders, so many decision makers, and you've seen the evolution of BIM, which is building information modeling. I just wanted to, ask you to share a few thoughts on that, how the industry has evolved on the larger projects, how BIM has helped you, and what are the real bottlenecks that are still being faced by the industry on such kind of projects.
BIM basically has turned all of us, not all of us, but majority, into data capturers. What do I mean by data capturers? Back in the days, you will have to read a 2D drawing and some few elevations and cross sections and longitudinal sections for you to build the job inside your head. But now we give you a picture. So back in the days when we were building, we had no pictures. Okay, so you are building on 2D drawings. You have to get lots of things together. You must have what we call general arrangement or layout. You must have elevation. You must have all this. You put them together to make sense in your head. But with BIM, I can give you with 4 pictures exactly what you're going to build. And boom, I can make a program from it. So it has taken the intellect away of engineers, of being able to combine all those lots of information we used to use in order to come and build a job. Now it can be done with quick. So you don't really have to be a very sophisticated, intelligent person for you to read and build. You just look at it and it talks to you. This is what I believe. It works better. Let me put it this way: when snagging on the final finishes, when walking into the building, okay, it helps you understand what you're building through. But yes, we still need those drawings for setting out, for the layouts and all sorts. For us old school, we still want to. I still am guilty of printing pages. I have lots of pages even now. Um, your new school people, they don't print drawings, they read them on computer. I'm old school. I still print, I still go through it. The 2Ds, I still understand it today, even though there is new ways of doing things. So we're slowly getting away and moving away with the young generation of how to do things. So yes, it is good thing that it has happened. That's why we're no longer doing square buildings, um, rectangular buildings. If you look, the old designs have always been rectangular or square because there was no computers to make these funny shapes like twisted buildings you have in Dubai.
The
Uh,
parametric ones, yeah.
Yes, the half moon, the cone shaped. It was difficult to do those drawings in 2D. That's how limited we are. So you guys are living in a life where there is no limit. You can do any shape or form. You can even go a kilometer high in the sky. So it's great times to live. I believe you guys are living in the best times,
Yeah, I
together
think
with me, of course.
the time just keeps improving. That's all I can say.
Yep,
It's
yep.
always a great time to live, but I think, especially in construction, you're coming to see so many unique parametric forms, right? Like you've seen Museum of the Future. The Zayed National Museum in Abu Dhabi was supposed to be. It has a very parametric feel to it, right? That it's the same sort
Um,
of concept.
I'm actually sitting at Zayed National Museum as I speak.
Oh,
So yes,
interesting.
I'm working from a Zayed National Museum site. We have a scope of work within the project. We have a team outside which are involved. I was a bit involved in helping them at some of setting out, getting the methodologies clear, submitting method statements, um, getting clarity on how we will build it. And then I'm now concentrating on the Saudi one. But yes, it's interesting.
Yeah. So net, you say that BIM has been an enabler. It's able to help you keep the schedules on track. I know ALEC has always had a very good reputation for keeping projects on time. A lot of it has to be with, of course, the manpower, the extremely skilled manpower that you have, but also an investment into technology.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's very true. Look, ALEC is it's a machine. I cannot tell people how much blessed I am to have been one part of this organization and still to be part of this organization. It's like a wife you never had, a wife you cannot leave. When they say death do us part, this is the type of organization you work for. So you want to work wherein even when you are sitting at a bar having a beer, someone offers you a job. You're like, I'm sorry, I will pass. But they're like, this is more money. You're like, if I have a beautiful wife and there is a more beautiful one tomorrow, do I leave the one I have for this one? They say no. I said exactly my point. So you become content with what you have been blessed with, the type of people you work with, the professionalism within the organization, the one family love part of it, wherein you feel you treated well, you feel appreciated. So why will you still go looking if you are already appreciated?
Yeah, and I think your career has been a testament to that, right? I mean, you've stayed with the company for almost 20 years now, which means that they have treated you well and you've enjoyed the work and the kinds of challenges that the job has presented to you.
Maybe I've treated them well. Like I said, it's a marriage. It's a two-way. Yeah. Maybe
Absolutely.
sometimes maybe you are the good husband one. Eh? Yeah, I believe they treat us well, and we also respect the organization and do our part. It's a two-way thing. The company do right by me. I do
Yeah,
right by the company.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, so, if out of curiosity, I'd like to know, can you discuss any project that stood out for you, something that you're particularly proud of as an engineer, and explain why it stands out for you?
Jesus. All the jobs, Alec, they strive into doing extreme difficult jobs, massive jobs. I've worked in every job that I've been. It's different in its challenges. Um, I will look at C3, Concourse 3, and Dubai Airport, where the A380 buses park. I was involved on the upper portion of it. There is a hotel there, Hotel 1 and 2, with 2 floors of hotel, 189 rooms to be exact. So I was part of the team that executed that part. So as we were building, I remember this vividly, and we were on schedule and we were flying. But the guys below, they had more challenges than us on the hotel. And there was a decision to say, if you finish the hotel, can we fly? No. But if we finishes the lounges, the first floor, sort of the first class, the business class, the gate, people can be able to fly in and out, right? So let's strip Ronald of the resources he's got, who's fast on building the hotel, and come help down here so that we can finish the hotel. We can finish later while the airport is operating. Yes, it's unfair for my team at the time, but looking at the bigger picture, you realize you are just a part of a team that makes big decisions every day. And even if some part has to suffer in order to build the other part, you have to go with it. So this is when you learn teamwork to say, yes, take the resources that I have on my area, support that area. Then when you are done there, you'll come back, we'll finish mine because the priority is over there. So these are the small um, learning curves that you never grow up to have all of it figured out. Okay, every job has got its challenges, and then we build it as we go. We just recently done a 3.5 billion Sea World. It was much of a huge challenge in terms of it's not your typical building. So basically, it's a theme park where you see all your water animals in the sharks or the penguins. There are different types of species that you see when you're there. So there are lots of pools, but these pools are a civil engineering marvel. The depth of it, the thickness of concrete, the panoramic, what do you call it, views that you see, which is done by acrylic. It's some of the thickest acrylic ever been used,
Yeah.
similar to the one at Dubai Mall. So just all this put together into one, and those mountains when you get there, the theming part of it, that's what we did. Like, I don't know, it's the design and the future buildings. You will never know how far these people will go into the imagination. Remember, we are just the builders, but there is somebody sitting there who imagined all this. So there is no limit in imagination. If there is no limit in imagination, there will be no limit in us building it. And we are readily available to build anything.
That's absolutely fascinating. I mean,
Yeah.
especially these aquarium structures, right? Whether you say Dubai Mall or the Yas, I believe this SeaWorld project is in Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. So I know these acrylic structures, they're not just one piece, and then you have like resin. It's created and then it's put in together. I remember visiting a factory in China doing the same. It's really a fascinating process.
It is, and they even weld them together. There's a welding type of its own just for these acrylics. And after that, they polish it. It's seamless, and you don't even see where they have joined them. Just
Where's
to
the
be able,
joints? Yeah,
exactly, just to be able to do that, and the pressure of water that they withstand. It usually it's withstood by concrete. Now they are replacing that concrete. You have to understand that the strength of the material used. Yeah, it is fascinating. This is when you realize, I think I'm at the right place. I don't think there is nothing else I want to do other than just building this.
yeah. So I remember there was an advertisement, uh, which said that the only credit to engineers goes, the best credit to engineers can go when nothing has gone wrong. Right?
Um,
So they
no,
say
it's
that, we never hear anything bad in the news. That means it's the engineer has done a perfect job.
you see, we live in a world of podcasts. You will never. There is, maybe I just don't follow. Engineers don't have time to sit and do podcasts and
Absolutely.
discuss of what they do, because usually it's a teamwork. People don't understand. It's never about I did this, I did that. It's a whole bunch of team which was there supporting each other. But I believe it's high time that we also need to be sitting together and be proud of what we build, rather than people use what we built but never appreciating us. We could talk about cell phone and who did it. We can talk about a song, who did it, and we dance to it. But we never talk about the people who gave us what we have, the structures, the infrastructure, the building we live in. The marvel of it all. People who combined it. So it's, yes, there is room for improvement, and let's maybe someday we will be sitting down and discussing what we have done in this world, how we have contributed, and we must continue contributing whether they speak about us or not.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that will never change. It's about, I think, showcasing some of these aspects. So we are very proud to see such kind of complex structures come up, and the kind of engineering marvels, and the amount of time and effort that goes into each of these projects. And if we are able to showcase it to students of the next generation and inspire them to do something better, I think we have done our part.
I will also listen. The men and women, whether have they been to formal school or not, the general labor, people who goes through the heat all the way when it reaches 45 and it comes down. They're out there sweating, don't understand sometimes what to do until you tell them what to do. But they are the real builders, eh? They are the ones that put it together. Yes, there is few minds that had thought about it, but there's lots of mind to build it. So to put it together, it might be few people. An architect can just be a singular and with few draftsmen, but with builders, with us, we are in thousands. Sometimes we reach 4,000, 7,000 number of people. And all these people have left their families at home. They are helping us build this. I think this is where, to me, in my lifetime, I would like to do appreciation to those. The men in overall and hard hat and boots, the men who are smelly because they've been sweating from morning till sunset. These are the ones that makes us.
I couldn't agree less. I couldn't agree more. So, yeah, so last couple of questions. I want to be mindful of your time.
Yeah.
So if you were looking at um, a fresh graduate out of civil engineering, mechanical, electrical engineering, the core engineering fields, right? What kind of advice would you give them on what kind of skills to focus on, whether it's your hard skills, your soft skills, the knowledge that you pick up before you graduate and in the early years after you graduate? Any last thoughts on what you would recommend to them?
Listen, success into this type of works is it's your personality. I cannot express this more than I can. Personality. Most of intellectuals do not have personality. Thus, they are difficult to work with. I know a lot of intelligent people who are difficult to work with. I know a lot of C students who are not A plus, but they are marvel to work with because they accommodate the dumb ones and they also accommodate the intelligent ones. Sometimes being over intelligent is a curse because it's all about you. You need people who start talking about the we, about other people around them, and people who can work with both the less intelligent people and the highly intelligent people and combine the two to work together. Jack Ma says it's easy to get two fools to work together, but it's very difficult to get two intelligent people to work together. If you can get two intelligent people to work together, just the beginning of your success. So if you can have that personality or you have the ability that when you are training people to choose that this one has the right attitude, this one has the ability to put people together so that they can work together. It's not all about I. There is a we somewhere in him. And then that's when you are winning. That's to all students to say, you might have done your maths test alone. You might have studied and crossed the night alone. But in real world, there is no alone. There is no I did this. There is we. It's time to start working as a team, contributing. Some people don't have the hands, they have the mind. Contribute your mind. Some people have the hands, don't have the mind. They will use your mind to use their hands. We all have a role to play. Find your role, play it, and be proud of playing that role.
I think couldn't have said it any better. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you on this short call,
Yeah,
and
thanks.
I really appreciate you taking out time. I know it's been a busy few months for you, but really appreciate you taking out time, and it's been a pleasure to have you. And I'm sure the students will be very excited to hear what you have to say.
Fantastic. Tell them someday, we don't know when, we'll invite them, take a walk to the sites where we work, show them what we do. I've worked with your mom. I didn't want to include the job we did together in Doha for a purpose. It was challenging.
Yeah,
It's she does great work, and this is where I say you have to respect people after they have built people who can work with everyone, and she's one of those. So you are lucky you raised in a family where it's a teamwork that people have to work